Hey, so moving on to the last part of, well, not actually the last part because I'm gonna show a bunch of stuff, but the this bigger section, which is gonna be about the post processes. So these assets, they're assets that I got for free on Unreal. It's called the Advanced Village Pack. The assets are gorgeous, so it's always better to show some cool post effects when you have an actual beautiful scene to show it in. So I'm choosing this one. I'm not sure if it's still free because Unreal has they have free assets every month, and I might have picked this one when it was free, but maybe it's not anymore. But I really recommend it if you just want to do some cool stuff in a beautiful scene. Then again, you're all artists, so I guess you all want to do your own stuff. So moving on, I'm simply gonna show you how post processes can be applied. They can be applied directly on the camera, or it can be in a volume. Uh, Maybe there's other ways to apply it, maybe by script or something. But I'm just gonna cover the way that I know how to do it. So let's go inside of the tab that's called modes over here. If you don't see it there, you can just click Windows and is it somewhere in there? Toolbar, world, wait, world outliner is there. Is that it? Wait, this is mode. What if I close it? Huh, huh, mode. Where is it? Ah, there it is. Editor modes. Yeah, that's where you get it. So, yeah, you can just type over here post and you're gonna get this post process volume. So this is a box, and as long as the camera is inside that box, you will see the effect applied to it. So I'll just make it smaller for now so you can see. So right now there's no effect applied to it, so you don't see anything. But we're gonna create a post process, and you're gonna see it's so simple, so much more simple than in Unity. Um, I actually skipped showing it in Unity because it's just too complicated in there. So you can just create a material and call it, I like to call them PP for post process, underscore, and we're gonna call it, I don't know what we're gonna do yet, so I'm just gonna call it post process underscore 01, and then I'm going to open this up. Now you get in the material editor as always, but over here in material domain, which is usually set to surface, you're gonna click this and you're gonna set it to post process. So now we only have the emissive color input over here. That's all there is to it. And the preview gives you something black by default. Uh, I'd say one of the most important nodes, if not the most important, when doing post processes is it's called scene texture. This one over here. So this node basically grabs the texture of the scene, and from there you can do a bunch of stuff. But just to give you an idea, uh, we need to set this to post process input. This is technically this is what you want to get. You can get the scene color before any post effects or lighting is done. The diffuse color. There's a bunch of settings that you can choose over here. Like metallic would return the metallic of everything. Um, And post-process input, like 0 and all the other numbers, grabs what we're actually seeing over here, and from there we can do stuff. So something that is strange about this node is that for some reason it returns a vector 4. You know, you have RGB, and it returns a 4 value for something that is essentially just color. So in order to make it work, we always have to use a component mask and ignore the alpha. So we just pick RGB. So if we plug this in here and we click save, it's not going to have any effect because we're just technically throwing back what we're seeing into the post effect, into the post process. So nothing's happening there. But we're just gonna apply it. So the way to apply a post process is to have your camera selected or the volume, and then you will find on the right side inside of the details an area that says post process materials. So you have to open this up, and then array you have to click the plus sign, and then you have to click asset reference, and you simply drag your material in here. And now the post effect is in that cube, but nothing's happening because we haven't done anything yet. So let's just go back here. There's this node called saturation or desaturation. So we can plug this here, plug it back there, and the fraction, I think it's a 0 that we need to put in order to get a grayscale. So let's click save. Or maybe it's a 1. Just wait for our preview. Yes, so now everything is in grayscale. So if we lower this and we go inside of the cube, oh, everything becomes grayscale while we're inside. Just like that. So well, let's scale this up now that we know that it works. We can just get inside. So we have the post effect working. Now it's time to experiment and do some cool stuff. So you guys remember when we did that color gradient, that sort of heat map effect? We were applying it to a texture inside of a material, but it's possible to do it inside of the whole scene. To do this, we're simply going to need the actual texture for this, the gradient. So let's create a texture folder. Let's import, and we're gonna find that texture. I forgot where it was, so let me dig a little bit. It's probably around course. Wait, I'm gonna go in year 2. Course 3 or course 4, class 3 or 4. Projectile, class 4, textures. Oh, well, we have a lava gradient over here. You know what? We'll try this one instead. Let's just save it. Let's go in here. So we have a grayscale. We are going to get this texture, our actual gradient. Now we're going to use this grayscale as the UVs. So let's simply append this with a 0. Plug it in the UVs. Plug this in emissive colors. So now that we have this, everything that is dark will be black, and everything that is white will be at the end of the texture over here, and well, you see the effect over there. So we get this weird thing. That's one thing we can do with post processes. There seems to be some kind of glitch over there. And of course, if we go out, danger zone, or I don't know, flashback memory, or the evil guy just appeared in the game, and he's doing some sort of super strong move where he's, I don't know, sucking souls from the entire village. And yep. My imagination's going. Alright, so this is one thing we can do with post effects. What else can we do with post effects? Let's just keep this for now. I'm actually gonna put a scalar. And I'm gonna call this desaturation. Alright, I'm gonna put this here. But now I set it back to 0, so it's going to be in color. As you can see, you have this UV that you can plug here. And the way it works with a camera is kind of like on a plane or whatever, you can set UVs. Well, the actual screen also has UVs, kind of like on a mesh. So I'm not sure which is the order anymore. Like it goes from black to white in this direction, and then from black to white in that direction. And if you append these together, you would get text chords. Yeah, you would get this sort of gradient if it wants to come up. Come on, save. Yeah, you would get this sort of gradient. But just plugging text chords won't really work because the actual UVs of the screen is different. It's is it screen aligned UVs? No, I think there's another one. Screen position. Yeah, and then you have viewport UV. So if I was to actually plug this directly in the color, you will see the result. Yeah, you get this thing over there. So just like any texture, it's possible to do some to mess up with the UVs before plugging it in. So let's just see what happens if I don't know, if we multiply it by 2 and we plug it here. We should be seeing the screen twice. Oh, well, it doesn't count like a tileable texture. Right now it's sort of like if our texture was set to clamp. So a way that we can actually make the screen appear more than once, 4 times, is to simply frac. So instead of going from 0 to 1, it goes from 0 to 2, since it's multiplied by 2. It's going to go from 0 to 1 and from 0 to 1 again, because we're only keeping the fractional value. So if we save, now we should be seeing the screen 4 times. There we go. So this is not really useful. Like maybe it could be used for something, I don't know, like your vision is getting doubled. I'm just only showing it for fun, you know, just to see what can be done, and then you let your imagination think of some crazy stuff. So this is when we multiply it by 2. We can also power, power the UVs to give a sort of distortion effect. So instead of having a linear gradient for the UVs, now it's being warped around. Like, whoa. This is so cool. And of course you could do the operation, the power on one axis instead of both of them, so that the effect would be only vertically and not horizontally. But yeah, that's one of the things that you can do with this. Something else that is really nice is you have this input over here, and we're using RGB, right? Let me just save it so that it goes back to normal back there. Alright, so you could split the RGB from each other, and in order to do this, you're actually going to need more than one of those inputs over here, because we're gonna mess with the UVs. Let me just show you quickly something that we can do. Uh, you can put an add over there, and then you get just holding the number 2 on your keyboard, you click to have the vector 2, and you can add wait, is it 1 that we want to add? Well, let's just add 0.1. This value means nothing right now, it's going to displace it um, yeah, by a bunch. So 0.1 corresponds to this thickness over here, this length. There's a way to actually get the resolution so that the number you use actually corresponds to an actual pixel. A screen resolution? No, I think there's another one. Wait, it could be this. Let me just check if there's not something else. This is screen resolution. Maybe if I type screen position, this is what we have here. Screen aligned UVs, pixel to pixel UVs. I just need to figure out what was my method. So I have visible resolution over there. I think I simply need to normalize this. I might be saying some crap. And then multiply it by that number. And then save. Let's see what the result is. I am not getting what I want. Yeah, this would be something a bit more advanced. I'm just gonna skip this. Just gonna put this number over here. I'm actually gonna show you something that is gonna use the screen resolution later, but we can see it later. So right now I just added 0.1 and we get this. So what if we just add 0.01 instead? We should have a smaller offset. And you're gonna see where I'm going with this very soon. Okay, yeah, you can see on the edge that there is some stretching. So while we have this, instead of getting all of our 3 channels over here, I'm gonna say that I just want my red channel. And then I'm simply gonna copy and paste this underneath here. And I'm gonna change this to minus 0.01 and minus 0.01. And I'm gonna choose the green channel. And then copy paste again. I'm gonna choose the blue channel. And for this one, I'm gonna leave it at 0. Or we can just skip the add node. Now, if we append all of these channels together, we are reconstructing the RGB. But as you can see, they each have a different offset from one another. So you're gonna get something called RGB abrasion or something like that. There we go. And if you want more control over this thing, you can simply add a multiplier to the number that you're adding. So you can click multiply. Just gonna give myself some space over here. Gonna put another multiply over here like that. There we go. Put a scalar parameter. So right now it's set to 1. So the effect is still the same. But now if I play with this multiplier, I am getting this. So the closer it is to, if I put it to 0, oh, I forgot to plug this one. I thought something was weird. Now it's going to be in place as if no effect was done, but then if I move this, you can see all the channels splitting from each other. So it can be cool for a sort of damage effect. Boom, 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 boom. So that's one of the post effects. As you can see 3 pots. The green one, the blue one, and the red one. So yeah, that's one of the effects we can do. I'm actually gonna stop the video now and create a new one.